Do we need to sell whiskey in India and cars and lamb and salmon to India that desperately that we can over the UK worker or the UK company? I might be a complete idiot and it might be all sorts of implications that I don't know about. But from the face of it and from what I've read, he's just gone over, bent over, and said, "Tell me what you want." So I thought we could do a session today on some of the things that I've been reading online, and I'll be honest with you, it shocked me, and I'd really love to get your thoughts on it. So the headline that I saw was that Indian workers are going to be exempt from national insurance in the UK. Indian professionals that come over to the UK on temporary work assignments will not have to pay national insurance contributions for up to 3 years. So basically, no NI for up to 3 years. And the same applies for Indian companies that come over here as well. And basically, there's been a whole heap of hoorah about this, ranging from the Conservative Party, the well, you can imagine Farage. They're calling it a betrayal. They're calling it a betrayal of the British worker. I feel that this is playing right into his hands. Right, I mean, last week the Reform Party sort of just wiped the Conservatives off the political landscape almost and took seats from Labour. And this is just going to escalate that even more because of their messaging, British work for British workers, etc., etc. And you mentioned something not so long ago with the likes of Lloyd's Bank now shifting everything over to India. And I just think this makes it even easier and more economically viable for all these organisations to say, stuff the British worker, why should I have to pay this increased national insurance that's been burdened on me by the British government, by the Labour government, where I can now employ either Indian companies or Indian workers in the UK and not have to pay this national insurance. Thoughts?
Well, I'll share the Lloyd's article. Basically, the British lender plans to include 4,000 permanent employees working in the technology sector and data in India by the end of the year. So
Right.
it's almost 50% of its IT team.
Yeah.
It's now all those jobs are now going to India.
Yeah.
This is meant to be a UK company, FTSE 100, our
Yeah.
best and brightest, as 50% of their high skilled talent gone like a fart in the wind.
But what this has done, I mean, see, is that it's now made it accessible to the smaller SMEs who are maybe struggling with recruiting IT, recruiting services, whatever it may be. They can just go, "Oh, you know what? There's a company that's now opened a representative office in the UK, and they're going to bring over a whole load of workers from India, and I don't have to pay any national insurance on them." I just feel it's crazy. I don't know. Am I missing something? And you know what? What we're going to get in return? Yeah, we're going to get in return lower tariffs on things that we export to India,
So yeah,
right?
word on the street is this whiskey, lamb,
Salmon,
huh?
whiskey, lamb, salmon.
Salmon. Yeah. So apparently it's estimated to bring 5 billion in GDP back to the UK.
I know there's a lot of rich people in India. I know there's a lot of millionaires, billionaires, etc. But I don't think the vast majority of the Indian public is going to go, "Yay! Our
Well,
whiskey's gone down in price."
well, it's cars. It's cars as well,
Yeah,
Andrew.
but
As
but
well.
they already own the car companies. Yeah, Jaguar Land Rover is owned by an Indian company.
Yeah, Tata.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So this trading deal is a massive, massive win for Brexiteers. It should have literally caused waves of joy amongst the UK population. In reference to your Farage thing, he's going to spin it in a negative way. No matter what Labour does, it doesn't matter whether it actually helps his previous narrative, which was meant to be that Brexit was meant to be a great thing, allow us to negotiate trade deals, to make our own rules. You would think that today he would be wearing a Union Jack or an England suit and going, "Hooray! I told you so. Look how great this is." And it's interesting how he's managed to spin one of his best wins, apparently, because he held himself as the leader of one of the main reasons why we even voted Brexit in the first place, to now going, oh, it's a betrayal of the UK workforce.
I
I
agree with him. I agree with him. I
okay,
have
that's
to say,
interesting.
I have to say it's a betrayal. Not because I'm a fan of Farage or anything like that. Yeah, but I just don't. I don't understand how Starmer has sat across the table from Modi,
Yep.
right, and said yes to no national insurance when only a few months ago there was a whole heap of uproar about now making employing people more expensive. So now not only is it employing people more expensive, but it's cheaper to employ Indian people that have come over on temporary work assignments. I don't get that element of it. I get the element of we're out of Brexit and we have to find other trade partners, etc. But why did he have to bend over backwards and get from behind, right, and agree to this kind of deal? Apparently, it was something that Modi insisted on. It was non-negotiable. Do we need to sell whiskey in India and cars and lamb and salmon to India that desperately that we can over the UK worker or the UK company? I might be a complete idiot and it might be all sorts of implications that I don't know about. But from the face of it and from what I've read, he's just gone over, bent over, and said, "Tell me what you want."
Okay, so I don't feel the same way as you actually, Andrew. So for anyone who's new to the podcast, I am not Indian, even though I look Indian. I'm from South America.
No.
So yeah, because look, I've been watching LBC, and I don't, as you know, I don't like LBC. I think they're extreme left in most cases, but I'm actually agreeing with them on this one. So James O'Brien, who
Say, old James.
yeah, good old James. He was confused. He was just like, "Oh, this is the first win for Brexit," and apparently loads of other countries have the same agreement with us. So they can come here, work for 3 years, not contribute national insurance. This is not exclusive to India. This is actually quite common practice. Now, I haven't looked at those terms with other countries, so I can't say that I'm well versed. But what I do know is some of my colleagues are doing the same thing where they're migrating to Portugal, they're migrating to Italy, or they'll go to Barcelona and they'll benefit from the 3 years or 2 years of tax free or lower tax rate that they can get, and then they'll just move after the 2 years.
Yeah, but
Uh,
there's a little bit of a difference here. Is that these people will not have to pay the tax in both countries. Yeah.
so so
So so you've got no tax to pay in the UK, right? Whereas you normally don't pay tax in the UK, yeah, but you still pay tax in your own country. So basically, an Indian company now who invests, and it could be a tiny little office, and brings workers over here. Both the company, yeah, doesn't pay national insurance in the UK,
yeah.
and they don't pay anything in India, right? So basically, they're getting double bubble.
Okay, so I think that's even better. And that's going to sound crazy, right? So just hear me out. It's just my gut feel because I'm still reflecting on it. So this is where I stand on it, and this was my initial kind of organic feeling. So I had in mind these expats that are going around, and then I've been thinking about what's happened with Lloyd's. Andrew, we are losing workforce by the ton. It's all going, I mean, not all of it, a lot of it's going to India. We are a services country, right? That's one of our main exports. And I think that this is probably a good short term mitigation on at least keeping that level of skill on our soil. So the fact that, Indian workers can now come here and work in our offices, I think that it's not just a trade deal benefits. It's also the fact that they're going to have to pay for flats. They're going to have to eat our food whilst they're working here as well. I think those contributions, even though they're very minimal, I think they're still a positive thing. And again, I'm just thinking about my colleagues that go around different countries and how much money they spend in the country. And I think that versus the export, like the example I gave earlier on of 50% of IT jobs just literally being exported and given to Indians in India. I think that this is a decent mitigation because it's already going that direction. So that was kind of my first reaction and saying, maybe this isn't that bad. Now, is it of bad taste? Absolutely. I think it's of horrible taste. Right, I think it's cheeky that you'd hit us with a higher national insurance and basically put a bottleneck in people's hiring decisions, which is a massive problem in the UK. But I don't think they're necessarily related, if that makes sense. I know it's going to sound like this a crap theory, but I just don't think it could have got any worse than it was in the first place.
Oh, well, I didn't think so until today. I get that he did a deal, right? And
Yeah.
I get that, a long term that there's going to be some positive benefit to the UK. But in the short term, it's done nothing but help the likes of Nigel Farage. It's done nothing but help the likes of the right. And the timing of it is absolutely despicable, is horrible. And I think that he basically just said yes to anything Modi wanted. I just don't understand what the key benefit from this deal was, that he can stand up and say, guys, look, I know I've done this and I know it looks bad, but here's the reason why, and this is how we're going to benefit. I cannot see the balance. Yeah,
No,
I cannot see the balance here. Whereas we're losing this, but we're going to gain that.
I agree. There is no balance in this trade deal.
Yeah. Would it have been better if he'd have said, you know what, guys, I'm going to put national insurance up, but only to people that employ 10,000 or 5,000 or more, right? Or whatever it may be. But the SMEs are going to get a reduction.
Oh, absolutely. They should be making these adjustments.
Yeah.
Please, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy with the existing NI situation. I think small businesses should be exempt of all these poxy
Yep.
rules because the contributions of tax ain't that great anyway. They're
Yeah.
in innovation mode, right? I think it's I would definitely think it's the higher tier organizations that should be paying the brunt of this. All we have to do now is get ourselves an Indian passport,
Yeah.
set up a PLC from India,
Yeah.
and we're scot free. We can get our free NHS,
And also we can get cheaper whiskey.
and we can get cheaper whiskey.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
I would love to hear any comments that say, you know what, Andrew, you're an idiot, or Mincy, you're an idiot. This is what this podcast's about. We're not experts. This is our own, feelings. Please comment, like, subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you very much for bearing with us.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.